Alrighty, hey guys, how you doing? We are right back at it again at Krispy Kreme, and we've got here the Wave 3 Deluxe Class Bumblebee from the last night. And just as a quick comparison, here he is with the repaint that we got in Wave 1 of the Age of Extinction Bumblebee. Just to show him off a little bit. There's a gap back here, and we'll get to that in a minute. It looks worse than it is because this isn't a gap. This is actually painted black down here. This is actually part of the car. But combined with this gap up here, it looks like this whole thing is misaligned. And while this piece does have a gap, and we'll get to that in a minute, this is solid plastic down here. It looks worse without having that line continue along the whole length of the car. But you can see some differences, you still got the black hood, but you can see the whole front end's a little bit more aggressive looking, as is the back, a little more of a raised spoiler. Here on the car. It's a cooler looking vehicle, I think, than this one, especially in this kind of blandish paint scheme. But at least compared to the original, which had a better paint scheme. Anyway, but there's the two cars side by side, the Wave 1 version versus the new Wave 3 version. Now, he also comes with this little arm blaster that there's a whole bunch of empty space in there, and it would have been nice if they could have utilized that to store this. I haven't been able to get it to fit in there. The instructions that came with it don't show any way of getting it in there. Like I said, there's a little tab in there that looks like maybe if there'd been a slot on here, maybe you could stick it in there in a way that would allow everything to fold up neatly. But as it is, there is a tab here on the side. And again, this is not mentioned in the instructions either, but there's a little tab here on the back of it. And there's little slots here on either side of the car. It's like dead center of the weapon. So you can plug this into either side of the car mode like that using those little slots back here on the side. So yeah, maybe there's a way to get it in there. It's not mentioning the instructions, and like I said, I gave it my best effort, but no matter how I rotated this thing, I could not get it to sit in there and still allow everything to collapse down. But yeah, we'll show you how that works shortly. Now, like I said, I like the vehicle mode. I think it's a very cool looking car. I love this whole new front end, but these pieces back here, this gap here, and it's not, some of it is getting that lined up, but I have not figured out, I can minimize it, but I have not found a way to make that really work all the way. And the problem is these back pieces are a slightly softer plastic, because even when you put this on, there's a little tab here that needs to fit into a slot on this, and you kind of have to bend it to get it to fit on that tab and then snap it into place to hold it down. And it may be possible to heat this and bend it a little bit, but even then, keeping it on the tab, you'd have to bend it right here, and you're never going to get that to sit exactly flush. And maybe it's just on my copy, but that's really annoying. It's even more annoying is the fact that maybe I keep feeling like maybe I'm just doing something wrong internally, but I follow the instructions and everything else fits in smoothly. So I don't know. If I'm doing it wrong, somebody will let me know, and I'll be like, oh, hey, and I'll fix it. But I don't think I am. It's just a matter of it's built. And like I said, this itself wouldn't be as egregious if it were not for the fact that just the black, this whole trim down here is not painted black. Just the bit on the door is. So when you have it like this, when you're sitting down, it looks like you've just completely misaligned the car. When all of this is lined up properly, this is all locked together correctly, doors meeting the top of the hood correctly, it's just this little window piece back here is not sitting appropriately. And there is a screw there. Maybe it's just screwed on wrong, and I can screw it down a little bit. I don't know, but there's always going to be a little bit of a gap there. It'd just be nice if this met with the rear windshield is a little better and minimize that gap. But that gap combined with just this one string of paint really ruins the illusion of the car mode a little bit. Outside of that, it's a nice mold, but those are, and hopefully if you pick this up, then maybe it's just my copy. I've only messed with this one. Now to transform him, we'll go ahead and just start popping them apart. So go ahead and untab these windows. There's a lot of bits of this that remind me of the Masterpiece Bumblebee that came out. I feel like it took a little bit from that. Not a lot. I mean, obviously it's a deluxe versus the Masterpiece version of the figure, but it does have a few cues from that. So go ahead and open these up, and then open these front panels up here. The whole side panel comes out. Lift this up from back here, unpeg it from up here. So this whole assembly comes up. The arms, you can see they're slotted in right here, come out, and then out and around. Pretty much like every Bumblebee figure ever, and then rotate the forearms and flip out the hand here. And then you just take this, lift this ab piece up, or down as the case may be. And then there's a little tab here that's going to tab into a slot on the front of his spinal column here. So bring this down and tab that in. Rotate his little chest panels, or angle them up just a little bit. See his head's on a ball joint. Bring this back. Lift this assembly up. And then the legs, go ahead and split them in half. Just untab them back here at the, they're tabbed together here at the rear of the car. You'll notice these are very floppy. They tab in up here, but untab them from here. They're gonna probably unpeg on their own. And then you can go ahead and take this panel and rotate it up and out a little bit. And that will give the, now you've got the freedom of the foot. Flip these shin panels forward. Fold this panel, the rear panel, up to the inside of the leg. And then with this, you got to make sure this is out of the way, because then the foot is going to flip down like this. And again, this side, not really again, but like another issue with it, this side doesn't click into place as easily as this side does. I mean, even this side's a little loose, but I can feel it, that last little bit kind of clicking into place there. It's not a hard ratchet, but I can feel some friction right as I come around this corner to right there. And it's going to hold that foot in place. There's nothing over here. And I don't know what the mechanism is. I maybe could tighten that up with some floor polish. And he still stands okay, but this side of his leg is a little loose. But then you flip the leg around, and there's a little, you can see this rectangular peg here. It's going to peg into this slot here. So you bring it around and then collapse. You'll see that little piston come through as well. Collapse that and make sure you peg that together securely, otherwise your feet are just going to be super floppy. Same over here. Yeah, see, there's the broken ankle. It's doing the Humpty dance. Before she limped to the side like your leg was broken. Anyway. You see that. This side, you can see, that side is, actually, it doesn't take much when you're actually rotating it, but you can see, like, just tapping it, that side of the leg is staying in place pretty well. This side, you pretty much just touch it, and this side flips up. Again, that I feel is a quality control thing, that not every copy will have this problem, but it's just mildly annoying. And then this whole assembly, you flip this up, and this up, and then this up, all the way up into the back, and then you can bring this down. So the whole upper body stores, and there's a little, you can see there's a little tab here that's going to go into the windshield up here. There's a little tab right there on his back. It tabs into the windscreen, and that holds that whole assembly up. Again, kind of like the Masterpiece, it had it all fold up into the torso, and then also like the Masterpiece, it has the same little flip down, these little wings. Like I said, that's on a screw. I wish that actually allowed it to rotate a little bit, because then maybe it wouldn't be as much of an issue in vehicle mode. But you flip those down, and then the gun here can store, there's a little peg on there, and it can store back here when you're not using it. And there he is in robot mode. And he's not bad. He's got a little ball-jointed head. We saw that earlier. Ball-jointed shoulders, as well as a little bit of joint where it transforms. Bicep swivel, hinge elbow. The wrists are just on hinges. The fists are solid. He does have a waist swivel, ball joint hips, thigh swivel there, ankle tilt in one direction, and then front and back ankle here. And a quick visual comparison here he is with, this actually is the Age of Extinction version, but just to show you how it compares to the previous mold. Car mode, I think, is a much cooler design here on this new one. I still think I like this robot mode better, but hey, you know, it is what it is. He has the flip-out cannon here on his right arm. This mold does. This guy, it only works, it's designed to only really work on his left arm, unfortunately. It would be cool if it could work on either arm, but the way that the elbow joint works on this, along with the position of this little shield, the instructions show it on this arm, and you can put it on this arm, but if you want to have the shield on the outside, you basically lose elbow articulation, unless you want to bend his arm backwards. But you just come up here, take the forearm, and you just pop it out of the socket here, and then plug this one in, and then you've got a cannon arm here, like that. And this arm, unlike this arm, doesn't have it. This arm has the little peg here on the bottom, so you can fold that up, and when you're using the gun, you can store his forearm back here on the back. So at least it's got some storage for that when you're here in robot mode. So yeah, it's neat. I think it's a little ambitious. I think it tries some very cool things, and some of them work, and some of them could have been better. Some of them I think give it a few weaknesses. Like I said, the little wing panels that don't quite fit in the match the thing. This is a quality control thing. I'm not going to fault them for this, because that was not. I'm sure the designers were not like, make this one floppy and not that one. That's just a production issue. I do wish that they'd found a way to make the gun arm work on either side, because I'd like to make his right arm the gun, but I mean, that's a minor quibble. I do wish there were better storage with everything else they've done on this, and with all that empty space inside the cabin of the car. I really do wish that they had found a way to make this store inside the car itself, as opposed to just pegging onto the outside. I do like the fact that the whole windshield folds up into there. It's a little awkward there it is from the back. You can see it's a little bit of a mess from the back. And this will tighten up with some floor polish. It's right here under the table. So yeah, some neat things going on here because of, budgets and price points and all that stuff. I feel like if they had the free reign and the cost, and I feel like if they had done this Deluxe 5 or 6 years ago, he might have ended up being way cooler than this one ended up being. He's not bad. I just like I said, there's some neat things going on. I like the vehicle mode design. I feel like his head sculpt is a little bit of a step back. But, hey. If you really just want a great movie Bumblebee figure, I'd save up and spring for the Masterpiece. I really am still digging that figure. But if you want an actual last night version of the car, well, here you go. You don't have to order them from Taiwan. TF Source has them in stock right now. I'll put the link down there in the description. But yeah, he's neat with some various flaws. I don't know. I wouldn't beat down anybody's door to get a hold of him unless you can guarantee like this copy is free of some of these issues. If you get a good one right off the bat, hey, great, you did a good job. If it takes a little while, yeah. Now I'm just rambling. It's late. I'm staying up. I'm about to play Destiny 2 goes live here shortly, and I'm looking forward to playing that. But yeah, this showed up today. Like I said, he's neat. He's got some neat things about him. There's definitely some innovative things. I'm just repeating myself at this point. I'm going to let it go. Wave 3, Deluxe Class Bumblebee from Transformers The Last Night.